G'day there, podcaster. Just a Ben and Liam special tonight. No Belle. We certainly missed her, though, and she'll be hopefully back tomorrow. But we had some cracking calls. I mean, the name of this podcast is A Plane Landed in My Nana's Lounge Room. Incredible story. Did it happen or not? Well, you'll find out in the BS meter.
I think it was the best BS meter yet.
My favourite BS meter, for sure. Yeah, that we've done. Once again, that nothing to do with you not being here, Belle. It's just natural. I know you're listening to this right now. I know you're listening to this right now. You're analysing this more than anyone else listening to this podcast. It was we just happened to have some cracking calls for that one.
Some of the best we've ever had.
Yeah, so now you get playing on her mind, you know what I mean? Also, Ben told a pretty funny story about...
One of the best I've ever told.
Really just clicked tonight, he said. Really just clicked. No, now we're being pieces of shit. See, no, just enjoy it. It was a fun show. You make your own mind up. I'm sure it'll be a better one tomorrow, though.
You also told a good story.
Yeah, we were pretty on.
Enjoy the pod, Belle.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You ready?
stop what you're doing and listen.
Live across Australia. Higgins Radio. This is Ben, Liam, and Bell on Nova.
Good evening, Australia. You just got Ben and Liam tonight. Belle at home, off sick.
Yesterday we heard from Lorna, Ben, and she was self-confessed Australia's worst air hostess.
I was an air hostess. I was in charge of the food and I forgot all about it. It caught on fire in the ovens, so we had to emergency land.
Are you saying it was your fault?
Yes, it was.
Oh,
Yes. And it was my second flight as an air hostess as well.
no! So what? I mean, did you keep your job after that? After you dutched the whole plane out?
I was severely reprimanded, and then my third flight, I locked somebody in the lift and forgot about them.
Oh my God!
Well.
We want to try and do every job this evening. Are you Australia's worst? Baker, dentist, mortgage broker.
Brain surgeon.
That would be bad.
That'd be really bad.
You've probably killed someone if you're calling through for that one. But, maybe you're not in this field anymore. Maybe you tried it for a bit and you were like, nah, it's not for me. 13, 24, 10. We're looking for Australia's worst in every profession. Rebecca in Sydney, you're Australia's worst what?
Customer assistant.
Okay, why is that?
I didn't like talking to people, so I used to hide out the back or hide in the clothes just to avoid talking to a customer.
And how long did it last in the gig?
I was in customer service for probably about 15 years.
You were hiding also
Between
from your
different jobs.
managers. They just didn't even realise you worked there. Oh, we just thought she was trying things on in the changing rooms. Anon in Sydney, you're Australia's worst what?
Australia's worst podiatrist.
Oh, okay. Yep, you work with feet. A bit of a worry. I know. Don't podiatrists cut old people's nails in nursing homes?
You hit the nail on the head. So I came out of uni and I went into aged care podiatry and I realised it was a bit of a numbers game. So you got paid per clip. So the more people you saw in a day, the more money you would get paid.
Whoa.
So I would run around and just load up on Band-Aids before I went in of a day's work. And if I clipped a little bit of skin on the way, I'd just bandage it up and on to the next.
Oh, God.
Especially with old people. I mean, they could be on blood thinners.
That's literally why they get podiatrists to do it, because they're more careful. And you're in there like you're shearing sheep. You're like, oh, yeah, well, if I clip an old person here and there on all the blood-thinning medication they're on, I'm sure they'll be right.
But, hey, the pay's good.
Isn't that right? I wonder how many that guy was clipping. No wonder why he stayed anonymous. I'd be mortified. I'd be mortified if I found out my grandparents were there.
Here comes the butcher.
Yeah.
Put your shoes on.
Yeah, if I missed a toe or two across the way, it didn't matter as long as I got the big pay at the end of the day. Amy in Melbourne, we've spoken to Australia's worst podiatrist already. What about you? You're Australia's worst what?
Banker. What did you do?
I worked as a teller and I accidentally gave away $40,000.
Whoa! So you just put the wrong name in or the wrong number? What happened?
I gave the wrong bag, so like a bag full of money.
Oh, so you gave someone you gave someone actual physical cash?
Untraceable cash.
Yep.
And surely you would feel the weight of $40,000. I don't think I've never had it in my hands. I probably never will, but that would be heavy.
Amy, was that a costly mistake or did the money get returned?
It was a very costly mistake for the bank, yes.
Oh, so they got away with it. They took the $40K.
Yep.
You're not coming back, are you? If someone gives you it. And are you still working for that bank, Amy?
I was this when I was pretty young, but I didn't lose my job.
Wow.
That is, I mean, this is, I'm enjoying this one.
I'm also enjoying it, Liam. 13 24 10 is our number. I'm Australia's worst what?
Jackie in Sydney, you are Australia's worst what?
Or you knew Australia's worst what?
I knew Australia's worst usher. Yeah. So I used to work with someone so at the end of the show, you're supposed to open the door to let people out. Anyway, once the show finished, we were like trying to signal to her, get up, open the door, and she was like, oh, yeah, of course. And instead of opening the door, she just stood up and started clapping for the show. I was like, oh, yeah, that was a great performance. That was fabulous. Like, no, open the door, doll.
That's like the one thing you got to do. But you're literally ushering people out.
She just thought she was there for a free show.
Yeah. Kate in Brizzy, you are Australia's worst what?
I'm the worst mother.
Oh, no.
I have
No
5
good.
kids. Yeah, I've got 5 kids, and I've left one today in a trolley. And I took off.
Hang on, what?
Hang on, say that again. The what with the trolley?
I left my child in a trolley in a supermarket, and I took off.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God. So
Right,
you
yep.
left them in the trolley in the child seat, and then you drove away.
Yeah, I was so distracted by all the naughtiness of other 4 that I just lost my mind completely, and I forgot my child.
How old was the kid in the trolley?
Oh, just 6 months old.
Oh,
I
that's
quickly
little.
turned around and came back.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah.
Did you get all the shopping? Like, did you leave a bag of corn chips in there as well, at least if the baby was peckish? Or did you manage to remember the shopping, but you forgot the baby?
No, I collected that.
You got all the shopping, but you left the baby. That's a lot, Kate, and I appreciate you being so honest. I'm going to reward you with a couple of tickets to go see Hoyts at the Extreme Screen.
Oh, thank you so much.
No worries
I'll
at
never
all.
forget my child ever again. Anyway.
Okay, very good.
Thank God for that. Otherwise, we will have to call someone, Kate.
W's in the chat for this pod.
I had something great happen to me today, Ben.
Yeah.
And also something terrible.
Oh, no.
So the universe has left me at neutral. I believe in that sort of stuff, karma.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't really do anything good or bad, but just something good happened to me and something bad happened to me.
Yep.
And you get to choose your own adventure. Would you like to hear the bad thing that happened to me first or the good thing that happened to me first?
Let's start off with the good.
Okay. Yep. So I went for breakfast this morning. It was an hour parking. And I was basically on the hour. And I saw the guy come around who was taking a photo. So I was like, I got to go. Like, ran out. And I was like, he was probably like 4 cars down. And I could tell, you know, when they start actually riding it, like they're riding it.
For your car?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And this other dude started talking to him. And then I got to my car and I went in and he was like, oh, mate, lucky, you're over. But this gentleman started talking to me, so I didn't get to finish your ticket. And I was like, yes, awesome. And he was like, the guy was like, yeah, I used to be a delivery driver, so I was just thanking him for keeping people out of a loading zone. And I was like, well, that sounds riveting, but I'm going to go now because that's the worst conversation ever. But yeah, that guy, that stranger talking to the ticket man, whether he meant to do it or not, saved my bacon. I would have got like $100 parking ticket. So I was like, felt pretty stoked.
And you're in the handicap.
That's it. And in front of a fire hydrant as well. So it's like it was a triple whammy. But, you know, and I was feeling pretty good about myself. I got out unscathed.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, you know, later on, I was walking the dog and something happened in front of me. And I thought, oh, this is my chance to repay the favour, do the good deed. Because there was a nice lady walking her pram with her baby and the baby's hat dropped off. And she was sort of in her own little world. I was as well because I was listening to my music. And I sort of said, oh. And she, like, I don't think she thought I was talking to her. So she just sort of kept walking. And I was like, oh, it's a little, it looked like hats that kids wear in the pool sometimes. Like those Legionnaire hats. And they're really colourful. Yep. That sort of material. And I went down to grab the hat that the baby dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And as I really picked it up and got my hands right into it, I realised it was a reusable nappy.
Gross.
And I was like, ah! It's just sort of like straight the smell, and it just sort of started and it was waterlogged. It was waterlogged. Heavy. How dare you, universe? How dare you? I was up 1-0, and so I had to like walk back over to the lady. I still had my music in. I had the dog in one hand and the soddied nappy in the other hand. And I was like, you dropped this. And she was like, oh, and I couldn't even take my headphones out. So I was like having this conversation. She was like, you can just put it in there. And I was just sort of signaled to the bottom of the, gross, man.
Why is this freak following me?
What? I threw that away. I don't want that with me.
If you're listening to this podcast at 2 times speed, it's the Ben Lehman Bell Podcast.
And there is an Australian who has been left horrified after opening a brand new jar of Vegemite.
We're happy little Vegemites, as bright can
Imagine this, breakfast. You open the pantry, you get out a fresh jar of V.
Oh, no, what's in it?
You crack it open.
Not a cockroach or something.
And someone has stuck their thumb in it, and there's just a big dirty thumbprint at the top. Because you know when you open a new jar of jam or peanut butter or Vegemite,
smooth,
the top's really smooth.
Yeah.
And you just see a greasy fingerprint right on the top.
That's worse than a cockroach, I think.
I think so too.
At least a cockroach seems like an accident, but if someone's like purposely put their dirty thumb in there.
And then put the lid back on.
Were they doing it at Woolworths or something? Someone's just like getting their kicks from, remember that person put the pins in the strawberries? Do you reckon someone's going around putting their thumbprint on Vegemite?
I think it was a Coles delivery. I could be wrong. I think it was Coles delivery. They're looking into it, but they're also questioning whether or not it happened on the line.
Might have happened on the line. Yeah. Yeah, because that is, do you reckon that's happening in Australia? Is Vegemite made in Australia?
It is, I checked, yeah. Made in Melbourne.
Is it? Made in Melbourne. That's pretty cool. I don't know if it's Australian owned anymore, but at least it's good it's being made here still.
Yeah.
Could we speak to someone if you're on I would love to speak to someone from the Vegemite factory or any factory. If you're on the line, like I've driven past the McCain's one before. The McCain's one is huge. If you're on the line, I got a mate who's been doing some work with Smith's Chips.
Oh, imagine getting a fresh chip.
You get unlimited chips if you work there as well.
Off the belt?
I think it's just more these free vending machines. I don't think you're allowed to put your mouth on the belt.
They put it in vending machines, but it's free?
Yeah, it seems like double handling.
Surely they just put them out in the open, like on a shelf.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's probably more like that. I think they're just on shelves and in bowls and that sort of stuff. But it's like fill your face, like as much as you want.
I do find that intriguing. If you work on the line of a brand we would know,
and also like for Vegemite, for example, like I'd imagine there's big machines that's pumping the Vegemite out. But is there a machine to put all the lids on? Like surely no one's putting the lids on.
That'd be a machine, yeah.
So it's more I think these days, if you're on the line, you're more making sure the machines are doing the right thing, right?
And not sticking your thumbs in it.
With that, yeah. Maybe you're there to look at other people to make sure that they're not sticking their thumbs in the top of the Vegemite.
Someone else has also got to taste test it, right? Like at the end.
Yeah, no one has called for this yet. So please, if you're on the Vegemite line, if you're on any line at a factory of a product we would know, we'd love to speak to you. Andrea in Sydney, this is your dad. He used to work on the production line. What was it for?
Yeah, he used to work for Coca-Cola. Not anymore, so I can say this.
Mm-hmm.
But because he worked there, they got to have Coke anytime, and he would come home with like boxes of crates with Coke, like the small can. And so I would bring it to school, and I was known as the Coke supplier.
Whoa.
In my primary school.
Bit of a worry when you're known as the Coke supplier around high school. Hard to get a job a bit later on. But Andrea, what was your dad doing on the line? Was he sort of making sure the machines were doing their job, or was he taste testing? Was he checking the cans are all done right? What was he doing?
He was making sure the cans or the bottles were filled. I don't think he was allowed to drink it.
Yeah, right. Did it taste a little bit better when you just knew it was that much fresher?
100%.
Yeah.
Straight out of the tap.
Straight out of the tap.
Selena in Melbourne, you work on the line. Would we know what company?
Yeah, I used to work for Red Tulip Chocolate.
Oh, yes. Cadbury obviously king in this country. You don't think of Red Tulip as much.
Favourites.
Well, yep.
Celebrations.
Yeah, well, no need to make Selena feel bad.
No. I'm just saying. I'm in my head. I'm out loud. I'm ranking them, and then Red Tulip.
Well, you've obviously got your Haigs, your Cocoa Blacks, your fancy ones,
Whitakers.
Gee whiz, the list goes on, doesn't it? Yeah, it's actually hard to imagine how Red Tulip has sort of found out. But like I feel like I got a lot of Red Tulip for Easter. Easter was sort of, I think my Nana and stuff would buy me some Red Tulip.
And how did you find working on the production line for Red Tulip?
Yeah, delicious.
So would you get to take as much chocolate home as you pleased?
We could eat as much as we wanted. So we would sometimes, an Easter bunny would end up in the press to seal the foil wrap the wrong way.
Yeah, yeah.
So then he was smashed, so we had to eat him.
Oh, I love it.
And when you say would end up in the press the wrong way, when you're working on the line, would you give that like a little nudge so it's in the wrong spot?
We'd just put him in upside down.
Yeah, I love it. And so, but like, do you, at a certain point, if you could have as much red tulip chocolate as you pleased, if there was, a bunny on the line the wrong way, do you get sort of sick of it after a while? Like, you don't find it exciting anymore?
Well, if you got sick of bunny rabbits, then I'd just go for the strawberry creams or the peppermint creams. Because you knew what wrappers they were in.
It's like a real life Willy Wonka. Like, it's, and there's a reason why kids love that book so much, because like, oh my God, like imagine that, like Chocolate Factory, and like being able to, like, obviously no chocolate rivers, no Augustus Gloops falling in. That'd be against OC health and safety.
Yep.
But Chocolate Factory, pretty good one. I got to say, Ross in Melbourne, you're on a production line. What for?
Yeah, so I used to work at how you going, guys? First of all, love the show.
Oh, thanks, Ross. Appreciate that.
Yeah, so I used to work at the biscuit factory, yeah.
Good.
Quite a major biscuit factory, and used to be on the production line and that. Found myself to be quite mischievous, as the packets would roll along. I'd help myself to, obviously not the plain biscuits, but the fancy ones, and leave them. A couple of my boys that worked a bit further down the line, they would, because you'd get to take, if any of the biscuits or the packets were crushed, we'd get to keep them. So we used to smash them up as they come along the line, so that they'd come home so you could make things with them and that, Quite often or not, we thought, should we replace the biscuits? Nah, we shouldn't. We'll just leave them like that. Yeah. So,
now, I get the vibe. I get the vibe, Ross, that you don't want to flat out say the name of the company, but is it a company that's known for making a whole variety of biscuits?
Yeah, and cream biscuits, very renowned company.
Yeah, perhaps there's one with like a nice red and white filling on the inside.
Oh, yes.
Perhaps.
Those biscuits are delightful.
Yes. Well, and you would know all about those biscuits, Ross. But see, that's so. And obviously, you're not at the biscuit factory anymore. Was that because they found out what you and some of your other biscuit mates were doing, or there's just not many jobs in that sort of particular space anymore?
Let's just say they didn't want us there anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think there's only so many packets that can be smashed up on a production line. I get it.
I bet you can't keep a mewing streak for this whole podcast.
Beep that song.
It's a pretty easy game. We just beep a certain word from a song. You have to tell us what the missing word is. Last week, though, bit of a shocker.
Yeah, no, it went for ages. Ange in Brisbane, you good with your music?
Somewhat.
All right, well, look, we don't need the whole song. We just need the missing lyric from this song.
Okay. Love?
It is love. Very well done.
I wasn't expecting that.
No, people never are. Let's see how you
I know
go
what to expect.
with Macklemore.
I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my
Pocket.
Yes. All right, here we go. It's Miley.
Moving my hips.
You are crushing this, Ange. This is exactly what we needed after last week's slow one. Here's Brittany.
That one's lit, guys.
It is. Okay, well, I'm sure you've seen Shrek, so this should be an easy one.
Some once told me.
Buddy.
Yeah. We're going to go 5 for 5 here. It's 50 Cent.
I take you to the candy shop. I let you lick the. Go ahead, girl, don't you stop.
Oh my gosh. Is it like Lollipop or something?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's a goated performance. 10 out of 10, no notes, Ange. I love that for you.
Oh my god.
I am going to give you tickets to go see 28 Years Later in cinemas June 19th. Do you want that or you don't want it?
Angela.
You still there. Angela, you should still be there. She's gone.
She left.
She just came, conquered.
She came. She thought Veni Vidi Vici. That was a Goliath performance. I love that.
Next in line to play was Claire in Melbourne. Claire, do you want Angela's prize?
Absolutely. I'd like those movie tickets.
Yeah, they're all yours. 28 years later in cinemas, June 19.
As easy as that.
As easy as that, mate.
Yeah, someone just had to go 5 for 5 and you just had to sit there.
Good on you, Claire. Have a good night.
If you put on our podcast as you go to sleep, this one's for you. Oi, stop gooning. The next bit's about to start.
Liam, I messed up big.
Oh, no, Ben, what happened?
I was in the backyard today, and you know this, I love golf.
You do?
My son Freddie, who is almost 2 years old, also loves golf.
Yeah, Project Tiger.
Yep, Project Tiger. My wife Sam has made a new rule in our house: no real golf balls in the backyard.
And to be fair, I've seen some of the videos of your son in training.
Yep.
And he can whop them.
He can whop them.
I'm genuinely like, is this AI? Like,
Yep.
Are you animating it? Are you animating your son hitting golf balls well? Because it is honestly impressive.
So today we're in the backyard. Dad wants to play some golf.
Yeah, cool, man.
Great, son. Let's do it. Now, I don't like hitting the plastic balls. Doesn't have the same feel to it.
And how's he going to know if you're serious about Project Tiger and you want that PGA money one day?
Yep.
He's got to get the feel of a real golf ball early because there won't be any plastic balls at the Masters.
You sound like me talking to my wife, Liam.
She doesn't get it.
And she doesn't get it. So I went into the shed, got a couple of sneaky real balls.
Nice.
And we were hitting around the backyard.
Cool.
Now, he was going, Dad, like, show me the flop shot. Show me the flop shot, Dad. He likes it.
Can he say that much yet? Because I'm
no,
like,
but I know he wants it.
Right.
With his eyes.
He can. Yeah, he wants the flop shot.
Yeah, he wants the flop shot, which if you don't follow golf, that's where you open the face up
and just
and
drop it in.
You really get under it and it just goes up real high.
Yep.
And just short distance.
Yeah.
And so give me the flop shot, Dad. Sure, son. And so I go for the flop shot.
Yep.
I'm not too sure what happened. Maybe I choked down on it a little bit too much. Maybe I lifted my head up and I get onto this one and it goes over the fence and into the neighbour's house.
Whoa.
And now here's where it gets worse.
Yeah.
Because so I've hit it over the fence and then in the moment I panicked and I said, Freddie!
He'll never play golf again.
Freddie!
Started screaming at him. The neighbours screaming.
Why would you do that?
You know, to keep the face true on a flop shot, boy. What do they teach you at Gindi?
I threw my son under the bus without...
you actually fully said
I yelled his name out, Freddie. Why would you do that? Because I thought if the neighbour comes out and they'd be less angry...
So it had to be loud enough for all the neighbours to hear. Freddie, what have you done?
Yep.
You could have injured someone severely.
You know the rule I put in, no real golf balls. So tonight I would love to do 13, 24, 10. What did you blame on your kid?
Yeah.
Look, it's after 7 p.m. Hopefully a lot of the children have gone to bed. If you are a parent and you want to admit tonight, like I have, 13, 24, 10 is our number. What did you blame on your child?
Now, I am not a father. I hope to be someday. I just have a dog, and the best I can do is blame farts on him. And by God, I've done it. By God, I've done it. And I have gotten away with it as well. But sometimes there is a time where it's only a human man can produce something so foul.
Fanae in Sydney, what did you blame on your kids?
I've done the accidental fart in Kmart and blamed it on the toddler and said, someone needs a nappy change, and then quickly power walked past.
People are like, we heard it. It came from that woman. It definitely came from that woman.
It's a middle-aged woman fart.
We all know what happened there. Chloe in Brizzy, what did you blame on the kids?
I'm actually a school teacher, so they're not exactly my kids, but I have knocked my laptop off my desk before and broken it and said that it was one of the kids who did it.
What?
Smart. Now, I can't reveal names, Principal. I just need a new Mac. And I know it's honourable, but I simply will not reveal my source. And look, we got to protect the kids. We've got to protect the kids above all else.
Did you get it replaced, Chloe?
Yeah, they fixed it all up for me with no issues. So.
I love that. If you want a new car, you can be like, who has done this? They've smashed the windows in. This is a write-off. Andrew, what about you? What did you blame on the kids?
Mate, you know the kids' play mats they play on when they're like 6 months old?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a big night out, woke up to the missus saying, who's pissed on the play mat? Realised it was me, so I blamed it on the dog.
Oh, no good. And once again, I know, as I said, Freddie's 2. Your dog is, maybe 8. I don't know what that is in dog years, but the dog also knows what's going on. The dog knows it wasn't responsible for that. And they're supposed to be your best friend, Andrew, but you did it anyway.
Good on you, Andrew.
You like that feeling in your ear holes? That's the Ben, Liam and Bell podcast.
Bonny is Australia's favourite fluffy doona brand, made from the highest quality, ethically sourced materials. Bonny is making doonas cool so that you can sleep warm.
Who's under the Bonny Doona?
Liam, I've been to your house. You got gross blankets.
They are feral, quite frankly, and I've realised that in real time since I came to your house recently and saw your Bonny Doona.
Yep, that's why we want to give you a brand new Bonny Doona 2 and $1,000 cash. Make sure you register. novafm.com.au is where you go if you want to play. I'll explain the rules in just a moment. Playing tonight is Ashley in Melbourne. How you doing?
Hey guys, I'm good. How are you?
That's the way. Very good. And Jake in Melbourne. Ready to play?
Very much so. Thank you.
All right, nice. So we have got a celebrity here in the studio with us. You just don't know who it is yet. How you doing in there, mystery celebrity under the doona?
We have kidnapped them, but we'll explain all after, and they will be given a Bonny Doona to keep, so I'm sure they'll be fine.
Now, the game is very simple. I'm going to read out a series of clues. You just shout out your name when you think you know who the mystery celebrity under the doona is. If you get it correct, you are walking away with $1,000 and a brand new doona. Here we go. I set a whopping 33 Guinness World Records, although some have now been beaten. I once owned a monkey named O.G. Malley.
Jake.
Go for it.
Michael Jackson?
Oh, it's not.
That monkey was called Bubbles.
Ashley, free hit. Do you want to have a guess? Or hear more clues?
Is it Mike Tyson?
It's not. Good guess, though.
I think he was more like a tiger guy.
Yeah.
And I think that could have just been in the movie Hangover. I don't know if he had one in real
I reckon
life.
he would have had a monkey, though, at some point.
Yeah, Psycho Mike, Iron Mike, he would have had a lot of things.
All right, I'll continue. Shout out your name if you think you know the answer. The monkey was confiscated in Germany. I was discovered at a young age on YouTube.
Jake.
Go for it.
Justin Bieber.
Let's pull back the doona and find out.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's Justin Bieber.
Congratulations, Jake. You got yourself $1,000 and a brand new doona.
Woo! Thank you so much. That's amazing.
No worries at all, mate. Thanks for playing.
Bonny is Australia's favourite fluffy doona brand, made from the highest quality, ethically sourced materials. Bonny is making doonas cool so that you can sleep warm.
Tell us about your doona situation at the moment, Jake. Is it real gross?
It's due to for an upgrade, definitely.
Yeah. Sounds terrible, man.
Does sound real bad. NovaFM.com is where you go, .au to register. If you want to play again tomorrow, you're on Nova.
You're listening to Len, Biam and Lel.
Last week, Sarah Jessica Parker came out and said she reads 2 books a day. And we're like, there's absolutely no way. This week she said, I've actually never watched that show I'm in, Sex and the City. And guess what? I got the BS meter out here.
Bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
It's going off again. That's why we want to do this. Call up 13 24 10. Tell Ben and myself a story. You could be completely making the whole thing up, or maybe you're telling the truth. It's up to us to decide. This is always good fun.
I was in Cambodia on a holiday. I had a very upset stomach, so I went racing into the toilet. As I sat down quickly, the old fella whipped up and got sandwiched between the seat and the porcelain.
Now, I think we believe you.
You're right. When you got 120 kilos sitting on the tip of your old fella, you certainly know about it.
So I won 1.6 million on Powerball 9 years ago.
Oh!
We reckon you're telling the truth.
Yes, there were 22 of us. We got 76,000 each.
When I thought you'd won 1.6, I'm like, that's 70 grand. That's chump change. We'll win 70 grand.
Me and a mate see a tour bus. It's got Guy Sebastian's face on it outside a pub. We took all the caps off the tyres. We run into my mate's house. I'm knocking on the door is Guy Sebastian himself.
You stole the caps off of his tour bus, ran away. He chased you, came to your house to get them back, and then signed an album.
Yes.
That is a couple of examples of stories people have told us. I would say 4 out of 5 times we get it right.
Yeah. No, we've got a pretty good BS meter, that's for sure.
If you think you can deceive us, trick us with your story, 13 24 10. It could be an incredible story that is true. It could be a story you have completely made up. If you can trick us, we have got prizes up our sleeves to give away. 13 24 10 is our number. We play next.
The way you said that sounds like we've got some prizes hidden up somewhere else as well.
That's where I kind of was going back to. Ali in Barizzi, hit us with your story.
Hey, a few years ago, we were on holidays in Rome, and we were staying in the same hotel as Adam Sandler. And we saw him in the lobby, and we followed him around. And then that night, we saw him again, and we had a chat with him, and we got his autograph.
I've got a gut feeling about this one.
Yeah.
I think the whole story is true. I think you did stay there. I think you did see Adam Sandler, but I don't reckon you got his autograph.
What hotel were you staying at, Ali?
I can't remember the name. It was in the Central, though, near Monty.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's BS.
Oh, yeah, so I was actually living in Rome, and he was in Rome, but we weren't staying in this hotel.
Yeah, fair enough. I liked it. And look, sometimes the best lies are quite close to the truth.
Yep.
So look, there was, it was hard to pick up on the scent, but as we said, we're pretty well experienced with this. We think we have a good BS meter. Let's speak to Kate in Sydney. We'll find out if her story is true or false. What happened?
Well, a few years ago, I managed to get home from Barcelona to Australia with no money and no passport.
So how did you do that?
Well, I got pickpocketed the night before I left, and I contacted the embassy, the Australian embassy, and they gave me an email with my passport, a copy of my passport. And then I called the airline and I said, if you fly me back to Australia, the embassy, Australia will let me in. And I told the embassy that if they gave me a copy of my passport, that the airline would fly me, and it all matched up. And I managed to get back.
What about what was your connecting flight? Where did you go through? Was it Doha? Was it
Dubai? I was with Emirates, and I went through Dubai.
Okay, yep, that checks out. So, and what about at the gates? Because you know how they have those e-gates sometimes. You got to scan to get through. Did you have to explain?
Yeah, well,
how
I
did
got
you do
back
that?
into Melbourne. Yeah, so obviously couldn't get back through the e-gate. They said, "Where's your passport?" I said, "It got stolen." So then they took the copy of my passport and they asked me a few questions, and then they said, "Welcome home."
Yeah, I'm going to get the BS meter out on this one. Kate, we reckon you're telling the truth.
Yes.
Yeah, we're on tonight.
Okay. I like it. It's a good story though, Kate. I mean, getting all the way from Barcelona to Melbourne without a passport.
And no money as well.
Yeah, wild. Lara joins us now in Melbourne. We're on a bit of a hot streak, so I'm going to be really annoyed if you get one over us. But what's your story?
A plane landed in my house.
Whoa! I mean, obviously not like a commercial airline. What type of plane was it?
Just a 9-seater flight plane for overnight sound and light or something tour, I think it's called.
And when you say landed in your house, you mean in your backyard?
No, literally landed in the front yard and half through the lounge room.
And was anyone injured?
No, 9 people on the plane, and my nana was home at the time in the lounge room, and not one person was injured.
Nana was just watching TV going, wow, this Dolby surround system is incredible.
Exactly.
Watching Top Gun.
Jeez, I don't know. I could go either way.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a good story, isn't it? And we're on such a hot streak, and it'd be such a shame to get it wrong now. But imagine that. Nana's in the lounge room. A 9-seater airplane crashes through. No one is injured. I mean, surely it would have been in the news at the time, but this could have been 20 years ago. We don't know.
I feel like this is one of those ones where it's a semi-true one and they've tweaked the detail, but you did tell it super confidently.
I know, right? And
I'd be real pissed off if you're like, oh, it wasn't Nana, it was Grandad or something.
Yeah, something like that. You know what?
Small detail.
We're going to get the BS meter out. I think, Clara, that you are telling the truth.
Certainly am.
Yeah! 3 for 3.
When was this, Lara? When did this happen?
About 1989 or something around like
Whoa.
that. From Essendon Fields Airport.
That is nuts.
That is a great story.
That is such a good story. That is the magic of BS meter. Like, it's like, whether you're telling the truth or not, either way, we're all having a good time here.
Yeah.
We're getting great stories.
Look, if you ever have a BS story that you want to share with us, call us 13 24 10.
And that's it.
Liked that podcast? There's heaps more to listen to if you just scroll back or download the Nova Player app.
Ben, Liam, and Bell.